Hey, so I just wanted to share some thoughts that I've had about hunger. So there's two things that have helped me a lot. First thing was something that I read about in some kind of magazine, and it was kind of life-changing in a way. So basically they said to rate your hunger on a scale of 1 to 10, and to kind of check in with yourself throughout the day so that you can become more familiar with your own hunger levels and get better at evaluating, am I really hungry? Level 1 is like, I'm eating like the sofa cushion. When I'm a 2, I feel like I'm uncomfortable and I feel like I need to eat within the next half hour, and if it takes an hour, then that hour will be like the longest hour of my life. 3 to me is like, that's like hungry. I think a lot of people would want to be like at a restaurant eating at that point. You feel like it's an appropriate time to be eating. You're not past that discomfort point. 4 to me is where I think, you kind of would want a like nibble snack or whatever, but you're not really like ready for a full meal or anything like that. You can definitely wait. 5 to me is completely neutral, not even thinking about it. 6 is the way I think you ideally want to feel after a meal, but probably not when you're like cutting. Do you actually feel this way? It's like you're like content, you just had all of your food, you're like kind of got that like full belly, but just satisfied. 7 is like, I have overindulged, but if I stop now, it's all gonna be okay. It's more than you should have had, but definitely not like, again, to that discomfort phase. 8, on the other hand, is like, okay, I was full and then I ordered some dessert. You're starting to feel uncomfortable. 9 is like you order dessert and then you like were uncomfortable and you just like continue to eat your friend's dessert next to you. And then 10 is like you are throwing up and just want to die. Don't like to be a 10. So what having this scale has done for me is it's on one hand enabled me to kind of like pre-negotiate if I am going to go out and indulge with friends or something. Like, I'll kind of decide, you know what, I don't want to go past that 7 today. So then, since you're familiar with your body, you're familiar with yourself, you're in tune with this, you're able to kind of stop when it's appropriate. Another thing though is it really helps me when cutting, because sometimes you're hungry and you're like, oh no, I'm hungry, but you're able to realize that, you know what, I am hungry now, my meal's not for another hour and a half, but I'm like a level 3 right now, and that's okay. I've been a level 3, and I can get through that, I can distract myself or whatever. On the other hand, if I'm like, 2 hours away and I'm like 1 and sick, then I think that's kind of an issue, and maybe you need to like reevaluate like the way that you've planned your diet or something like that. Lauren Conlon always says that your prep should feel like just a little uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be like death. I think having this hunger scale helps you understand like and feel like, where are you and are you doing what's kind of right for you? So now the other thing that has helped me with hunger was something that I started reading the MBSR, mindfulness-based stress reduction, and it wasn't anything that I thought was going to be kind of diet related at all. It just kind of happened that way. So one of the things they talk about is approaching life or things in the world with a beginner's mind. And that's basically like engaging all of your senses and approaching something with like a complete curiosity, and almost like it's the first time you're experiencing something. And they give people these raisins and they like roll it between your fingers and listen to it, actually like try to hear the way the raisin sounds, and then feel the texture between your fingers, put it in or smell it, put it in your mouth, feel the texture, feel the juice, feel everything about it, and really pay attention to the flavor, the sweetness, everything that's going on. And what I experienced from this is, one, I've always been the kind of person that like doesn't stop to eat ever. I will work while I'm eating all the time, or like just like run home and like eating my meal while I'm cleaning it up. Just like never sit down to rest and take that time. So for me, doing this really, it just taught me how to take breaks throughout the day, which is really important. But it also, I ended up slowing down. When you slow down to eat, it gives the leptin signals take some time to fire. So if you eat too fast, then you're like overeating because you haven't gotten that signal yet that you're actually full. But then also, I have this theory that could be totally like bullshit, but I wonder if paying attention to the food more causes you to have a greater dopamine reward effect from it. And if that also translates just to like a less feeling of sort of craving or you know, like deprivation, or like you've had rewards throughout the day, so you're not feeling like deprived or something. I don't know if that's actually true. The reason that I was saying it is because I read this book, The Compass of Pleasure, and they were talking about some study, I don't remember exactly, but it was like people who are obese tended to overestimate how good the food was going to be. Then when they ate it, have a lower like dopamine reward response to it. And then people who tended to be on this leaner side kind of had the reverse, where they had a greater satisfaction response than they anticipated. And this was just kind of interesting because it meant that like in order for the heavier set people to achieve a level of satisfaction with their food, they'd have to consume more to get to that that dopamine level. And then, you know, kind of vice versa, the other people were getting a good response for it, so then they could stop earlier and feel good. So I don't know, it's fun to speculate sometimes. You know, at the end of the day, the anecdotal evidence for me is that I'm definitely feeling like reduced hunger overall and less of a desire to snack at the end of the day. And I also feel more satisfied with my meal while when I have it. I often am like, oh wow, I'm actually kind of full now and there's like a bite or two left on my plate. And I was always like thought about people who like left a bite on their plate. I'm like, are you serious? You can't find room for that? Because like, I'm pretty sure I could. The other thing I didn't expect this mindful eating to do was help me with sort of that mindless, like sort of zombie-like hands, like scooping the peanut butter, and you're just like, wake up, and then you're like, oh my god, I just ate like half a jar of peanut butter. The way it helped me with it is in always being aware of like what I'm putting in my mouth and being highly conscious of it. It helped me realize like the moments when I'd go to the kitchen and I'd grab something, I'd be like, wait, are you mindfully enjoying this? So I just was able to catch myself like, do I want to be doing this right? There was a moment of choice. Either I can continue to eat this and do it mindfully, or decide not to. So I don't know, it was kind of like an awakening. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope it helps you. I'm Haley Morganfit. Thanks for listening.